WaveLab is celebrating its 30th anniversary, and I'm going to tell you why it's still my go-to audio Swiss Army knife. So WaveLab is celebrating its 30th anniversary. What an amazing timeline for such a great tool that I use basically weekly, and that is so much more than mastering. And to celebrate it, I want to make this video to show you some of the ways I use it regularly and that are very non-related or barely related to mastering. So let me show you how I use it, and let's celebrate all these years of this amazing tool. Let's begin. Okay, so this is one of the most common uses I do. I actually do basically several times a day, which is checking all my exports with WaveLab, and especially for loudness and things like that, and levels and stuff. I can, the first thing I really like is that I can have this spectral or frequency colorimetry that I can actually use. And if you go here, this is the color. Each color represents a range of frequencies, so the audio already is giving me information. But I can play this for you, and you can see I have all this metering, levels, loudness, wave scopes, phase, whatever it is that I want to use to check on my waveform. I can change the waveform the way I want to see it, the wave left. Let me show you, there it is, and the waveform, the normal, the more useful, commonly used waveform. But I really like the rainbow, so I can have frequency information on my timeline already. And the most common use I do with this is basically measuring an analysis. So I click here, analyze, and I get a version A of this. And if I do process on it, as you can see, I have all these curves that represent all these things in here. Integrated loudness, and if I change the color, I can change the color for it, and I can do an orange. It will be more useful, and I can take it out or not. And the most beautiful thing about this tool actually is that I can now then do a processing here and compare it and do a secondary analysis after the process, or if I put plugins or things like that, and I can do a comparison of what is going on with A and B analysis. Other things that I really use is in the case of processing. If I have to search a certain level or a certain loudness, I can do normalization with that, and I can apply that in here, so I can do that very quickly. So changes everything in the session, and I can remeasure and reanalyze and make sure that everything works perfectly with my even surround sound files. This is a song that I did, as I told you, but it's already on 7.1.2. This is an immersive score that we did for a play. So we have all those tracks in here, and I can hear everything that it's going on with each track. So you can hear everything there working, channel by channel, or all of them together. In this case, because of the streaming being just in stereo, you cannot hear actually all the surround thing, but the summing of the tracks in this case. But this is one of the most common uses I give to WaveLab, and this is such a helpful tool because since it's a mastering tool, all this metering and all this analysis that he does are so precise that I really trust everything that comes out of WaveLab. So this is very useful, and this is one of the most common uses I give to WaveLab. Okay, the next process I use a lot is editing clips in WaveLab, and the reason I do this is to then make kind of a hybrid batch processing process, because what I do is I edit all these clips that I have in my session and export them in batch. without the need of creating a Nuendo session and marker tracks and things like that. And I can quickly, without doing all that, maintain their name schemes or change their name schemes and export everything edited by myself. So it's not being processed by the tool, it's being manually edited by me with but exported as a batch. So let me show you. I have, for example, here several sound effects. Let me show you. Yeah, that one, that one, that one. That okay. So this one, for example, has, if you can see here, ProQ process on the clip itself. I also have. If you go to the track section, I have a limiter on the track, and this is independent for the other tracks. So if I want to export everything in here, I can do all of this and keep all these clips on top, and they won't be mixed because all I will be exporting are the clips itself. So I have several ways of exporting this. I can do the whole montage to all of this, but I will select the all selected clips, and then I define my destination, and I can do presets of how to export this, because I can do then OGG files or mono files or stereo files, whatever I need to export for the video game or for whatever usage I'm using this for. So, and as again, I can do, let me see, okay, I have an edited, I have my name, keep the name that it has, but a tag, I added a tag called master it, and I can tweak all of this and create presets for all that, and then just click OK and start rendering, and he will tell me that he will create all these audio files, and I say OK, and that is basically already done. And I can go here and reveal it in Finder, and everything got with the name that it had, but the plus the master tag that I just created, and everything got exported as I wanted it to, with all the processes that I already manually did. So this is very helpful because it allows me to create, as I said, like a hybrid batch process where I can do manual tweaking so that I can revise or process everything audio by audio, clip by clip, and then export everything with a quick, easy process of, like, if it, again, as if it were a batch process. And then if I can do that, and then you can see this, this is for a video game, so I have several tons of things that I have editing here. And another thing that I like about this is that it's not generating duplicating data, because everything is still within the files itself, so it's not creating a new session or whatever. Once I close this, none of this exists. So this is a very helpful tool and a very easy way of doing things that I cannot do the same way in another tool. So this is it. Let me show you the next one. Okay, batch processing is one of the other huge tools and uses that I give to WaveLab, and in this case, I'm going to show you. I have this bunch of dialogue, and I have the folder with English versions and Spanish versions of this. So I will take the whole folder and send it to WaveLab, and you can see I have all this dialogue in here, and I have all the 48 bits of clips of audio. And what I want to do is, in this case, what I did is a process to make sure everything is even and in several ways. So I can create a chain of processes. In this case, I'm verifying that everything that is stereo will turn to mono. Then I apply a dither, resampler, level normalizer, so that I can do certain processes afterwards, considering that is normalized, the signal is coming in close to the same level. And then I have a de-esser, because this is processing Alex, and Alex has a de-easing. If I want to bypass that, I can just bypass it. And I have a smart EQ here that is processing color, and I already made a patch that fixes color within his context. Compressor, I have a filter compressor, and I have a loudness normalizer, so that I can have everything even out afterwards. So what it does basically is take all this dialogue and even it out. And what I do with it is once I have my design, my plugin chain, all I have to do is press begin and run all the processes. But I also have the option to change the formats, the several options, metadata, and the output, where do I want it. And in this case, it's recreating the path and the folder structure that the folder has, so it will recreate it as it was, so I can just replace that in the game, for example, and things like that. So all I have to do now is run them all, and once it's done, we can check that out and compare that. Let me show you where it is. Revealing Finder, and there is. This is the one that I processed, and as you can see, it's got the English and Spanish folder and blah blah blah. And if you go to the process, and you can see blah blah, there it is, the English and the process. In this case, so everything is even out and leveled as I wanted it to. So this is a way to handle tons of audio that is basically that we need to even out to ease our mixing and processing and editing. So this is very helpful in that sense. And for whatever reason you need to process, noise reduction or hum reduction or whatever, you can use all the plugins that you have in here. You can add another plugin, and you can see you can go through all of the plugins that you have, the Steinberg or any other brand, and you can do processes. For example, if, as I said, restoration, we can put in, for example, clarity or any other tool that we have. So leveling, whatever it is that you want to do with your tons of audio clips, you can do it with ease and make sure that everything is there. So it takes a little bit of wiggling around with what you really want and see how the chain will work. But once you do that and you save it as I do, like a preset, then everything is smooth and just drag in and all comes out safely, because I'm trusting on the capabilities of the high quality metering and processing that mastering tool like WaveLab has. So this one is super, super useful. Okay, this is the one that really is more mastering related. But once I have, and this is a soundtrack that I did for a video, a small video, very small video game. Let me show you some of the tracks. Okay, so this is it, and what I'm doing here is in this project I didn't have the budget for a mastering engineer. I am not a mastering engineer, but sometimes I have to put that jacket on. So in this case, what I did is I brought all the tracks. I just told Nuendo to checkerboard it. WaveLab to checkerboard it. And once there, I brought my album tool and opened this tool, and he created everything with all the information in here. So he created the spaces and the tracks and the markers and everything. And afterwards, all I have to do is to change all the data from each track in here. As you can see, all that I wanted it to have. And I can have all the metadata tweaked by key codes. And that's very useful, because then all of the information that you just place on the markers, on the CD tab, it will be transferred to the metadata, and you can export everything from here. And then now, as you can see, I have my tracks have their own name in here, but the CD name is right in here, as we did with the tag in here. Okay, so I can move from track to track and master everyone with one after the other, and be able to compare, create fades, create markers, changes, pauses, anything that we want, fades, everything that is needed in the technical sense of creating the the whole spectrum of the soundtrack, and export this as a DDP if we want it, or as tracks if we want it, keeping all the metadata, doing things like, for example, creating a report, which is super easy here because it has all the cues that we had before. So what we're going to do is, let's say okay, and now have a report with all the info of each track and the CD text and all that is, this is super important for the delivery. And again, this is not the way to go, but is the way we can go when we have no budget for a mastering process. But the knowing that we're doing this in a very professional environment is super easy to learn to do it. It's 30 minutes, within 30 minutes, you're already working on it and making everything, all the changes, and it's very easy to do. And again, you can do clip processes on each song, and you can have this a track per song, and do all the processes that you want to do for mastering, leveling. You can do sections with just this section have a clip in there or whatever. So you can do this very in-depth mastering process. In my case, well, all I wanted is to have all the structure so that I can export it out as a DDP, and all the tracks were already labeled. But as you can see, I changed the volume on several tracks, and like this one, for example. And things like that. So I did all the tweaking that I wanted it to do, the fades and the crossfades and the whatever I needed. And once it's done, all I have to do is export it. And I can, for example, create a DDP. I forgot where to do that, but I can, again, see do all the analysis and, per track, per session, per breeze, per that, and do all my editing and all my process in here, so that I can make a quick master, or a very efficient professional, basically master, with the very little knowledge I have about it. So this is a very helpful tool, and it allows me to do a very professional process without being necessarily a mastering engineer, but I can, and it's something that I regularly do because not all the projects allow me to do mastering for all of them. So in this case, this was a very low budget little video game, so I was able to do this very professionally because I had the tool. So this is one of the uses I do very often with WaveLab as well. Okay, this is the one case that I don't even think about going to Nuendo. I just do it within WaveLab, and that's podcasts. All podcasts, I rather do them in here because I can have several, all the episodes right here in different tabs, and I have all the resources handy. So I can have, for example, I have this loop that goes underneath the intro and stuff like that. So I have this intro. This is a mock-up I did.
Hola a todos, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Hoy vamos a estar conversando sobre cómo...
And as you can see, it's already making docking automatically here. And the good thing about this is that I can not only keep tracking of all the episodes in one session and I can go back and forth, but also the fact that I have all my assets in here and that I can export this directly to the service. All I have to do is go to File, and here in Podcast, I select where I want to publish. I select it. I authorize or log into it. I decide the quality of the preset that I want to export this at, and I just click Upload, and then it's up there, and I don't have to worry if it's of going into the service itself and everything. I then do it afterwards just to make sure that everything went okay. But then I can do all the processes of editing. What I basically regularly do is record the dialogues and everything with Nuendo, and then bring it into WaveLab, and I have all my musics and stuff and stingers and things.
Y regresamos en unos minutos.
And I have all my settings,
podcast.
and I did compare episode A with B and go back and forth. And as I said, it's very useful for me to be able to have everything within one place, so that I know that everything is in there, and I can compare every episode and every season and everything that I have within regarding that episode and the next one and the prior and whatever I need. So this is very useful, and this is one of the processes I do basically every time in WaveLab, because of all of the capabilities that it has, that I can process each dialogue up differently by clip, and keep the metering being so good for my measuring everything that I'm exporting at and levels and stuff. The fact that I can decide the quality of the different files that I want to export and code the episodes at, and everything that I mean is so well suited to doing podcasts and things like, for example, it has automatic docking, so I know that
Vamos a estar conversando sobre cómo
you
hacer
can hear
nuestro primer podcast.
how it
con
changes.
Hola a todos, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Hoy vamos a estar conversando.
And I have already made the preset, so once I have all set up, is basically just bring all the dialogue in and just rearrange everything and export everything out. So it's very easy to work with. So this is it. This is the another one that I really use for that I really live to process in WaveLab every time. So maybe these 5 examples don't do justice to this 30 years old macro tool, super precise, that is even trustworthy for high-end engineers. But I think that we can what we can take out of what I just showed you is that the tool is not only for high-end audio mastering engineers. It can be used by anyone, to do your podcast at home, to do your sound editing, to do your own masters and begin learning and things like that. So it's a very useful tool. It has a very broad scope of what it can do. This is just a grasp of what I do with it, but you will be able to do much more with it if you want to. So this maybe doesn't do justice to all those 30 years of hard work that Steinberg has brought us with this amazing tool up to date. But I think it's good enough for us to get a good idea of what you can do in your house and your studio with WaveLab as your companion. So hopefully you will be intrigued and buy it and use it, and see you on a new video talking about the things they're doing with WaveLab on your studio. Let's see you on the next one, and thank you.